Captain America: Brave New World has no shortages of production issues, including reshoots, rewrites, and negative reviews from test screenings. But could Trump's win be a part of what triggered a reshoot? Despite all of this chaos, Marvel still released a trailer 3 weeks ago. Take a look.
Your inner circle's been compromised. Let me fix it.
Watch yourself. You're not Steve Rogers.
You're right. I'm not.
Here to break this down for us is actor and producer Matthew Marsden. So Matthew, I mean, when you look at all of the production issues plaguing the film, where do we even start?
Well, I mean, you have to start at the very beginning, which is actually the whole premise of the role of Captain America going to the Falcon. I think that was an error from the very beginning, although, and for the nerds out there will understand this, that it is one of the comic book characters that actually Sam ends up being Captain America. But I think that most people would look back now and say that they think that it should have gone to Bucky Barnes, who was the Winter Soldier. He comes from the same era as Steve Rogers, and I think that would have been more of a natural progression. But unfortunately, as we know, Disney woke, Star Wars, Disney woke, Marvel, everyone's looking at the decisions that they make skeptically right now. And of course, you know, having a black character come in and replacing a white character, whether you like it or not, that's a very negative thing just to start off with. So, and you're also casting someone. By the way, I love Anthony Mackie. I think he's a terrific actor. He's great in everything that he does. He's very, very charming. He's like I say, in all the Avengers movies, he's terrific. But you're from the very beginning, woke Disney have been setting this franchise up for failure.
It's crazy that, you know, something was so successful, you know, not even that long ago, though it feels like, to be honest, it feels like it was a long time ago when Marvel was actually interesting and I was okay with bringing my kids to the movies and excited for them and I'd watch them. But it's something that's so large, was so fundamentally destroyed. And now I think we people like us acknowledge that. We think it's the case. Certainly you see it, evidence at the box office. But do we think there is a turning back? I mean, Critical Drinker, others were talking about it, Blaze News, some of these articles were talking about maybe because Trump winning, they're going, oh, we need to reshuffle the deck. We need to get this right. And they're backing away from the wokeness.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, again, like I said, you have to look at their track record and what they've been doing. So it just depends. It's still like degrees of how woke it is. Mm-hmm. And they might have, I mean, they certainly did it in the ill-fated TV show that they had, Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think that they had that very, very famous scene where he's like, and you need to do better, Senator. It's just terrible, terrible writing. So I'm sure maybe it's the reality check that the woke need, because at the end of the day, the whole woke movement is rooted in narcissism, right? So when you look at something like an election, which is a rejection of what they believe in, you'd like to think that they would have some self-reflection, but they haven't on other things. I think that the test screenings, I mean, the fact that they've redone it and then they've put it out to the test screenings and the test screenings have come back bad means that they didn't deal with the issue at the source and they're going back. Look, the whole thing about this film is it's going to cost north of $400 million. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've basically reshot the movie. The whole movie. They would have been better off just saying, you know what, like they did with Blade, we're going to memory hole it, like forget it, it's not moving forward, let's restart again. But again,
it's a very expensive memory
hole. It's a very, but they cannot make the money back on this.
No, but the problem is, it says that it wrapped up filming in June of 2023 when we were in a very different political environment. And if you're on the left and you're a Hollywood movie studio, you're going, well, we don't need to redo anything. This is who the people of America are. They had no idea that a reckoning was going to come and that Donald Trump was going to go into office. Now, my issue, though, that I have with this is it's Captain America, Brave New World. All of the movies that we're seeing, Marsden, none of them are brave. And none of them are new. This is another Captain America that we are getting, another one in the series. We just keep seeing the same movies being made over and over and over again. Even at $400 million, they can't even get like a good idea out there that's new and thought-provoking at this point.
Well, what they've done is through the DEI hiring practices, you know, they've just hired people based on their immutable characteristics, right? So they're not bringing anyone in that actually has any talent. So what you have then is when you're going to the well and you're saying, let's do something new. What do? Because they don't have an original thought in their brain. They go back to the established in the past that was a success, right? So they keep going back to that well, which is what you're saying is they're not bringing anything out that's new or brave at all. And in fact, Hollywood, when you get to the point where you're spending $200-300 million, I understand that you need a certain amount of things. Like, for example, you need to go back and say, well, this is established IP. Captain America, they've had, which is probably the best of those superhero movies, if you're looking at the individual characters, aside from the Avengers, it's probably the best one. It's certainly better than Iron Man 2 and 3, right? I mean, if you look at, like I said, Winter Soldier is probably the best one of those films. So what they're saying is to save their own jobs, right? Because they don't really have that creative spark and they haven't earned it. They haven't come up the ranks. So what they're doing is they're looking, getting IP. Then what do you do next? You go for the stars. Well, apparently they went for Mark Ruffalo and he didn't want to come back. Apparently they went for Chris Evans and he didn't want to come back. So now who are you going to go to? You're going to go to Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie. Those aren't, Harrison Ford maybe 30 years ago was big enough to open a movie like that, as we've seen from The Dial of Destiny, which was terrible. He's not even someone that you'd look at to say, well, this is going to be a quality movie, as he was back in the day when he came out with Indiana Jones. So when the producers are putting they're kind of like lumping these movies together with what they feel is going to be a winning concoction, it just isn't anymore. And they're failing on multiple different levels. It's not just one level. It's not just the writing. It's the producing. It's the directing. It's all these different things that are causing this project to fail.
Yeah, not a brave new world, cowardly old crap. And when you look at how they're moving, though, I think what's interesting about it is it shows it's sort of a morality tale, right? I mean, once you start to say, no, we're going to put our politics into the movie, now all of a sudden you have to walk it back and pay attention to what's going on, because the rumors are, right, the assassination attempt happened, never mind the victory. Then all of a sudden they realize half the country is going to be watching this with a critical eye. And they wouldn't be in this situation at all if they had been focused on actually providing quality entertainment in the first place. And now it's like, how many movies are going to be like this? They're going to have to be watching what's going on in the news and then changing the plot. I mean, it seems like they did this to themselves. I can't feel sorry for them.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I was in Hollywood for 20 years, so I know what those rooms are like. And it is this kind of echo chamber. And while you're having successes, even if you look through the Avengers movies, they started putting in their little agendas and people would be like, okay, I've got enough goodwill. There's enough goodwill to go and watch the movie. And now America has turned a corner with the Trump election, and they're saying, you know what, woke is over. I'm not going to, even in my own like personal life and in our own personal lives, people online are saying, I'm done with the woke. You're not going to make me bend the knee anymore. So I think it's part of the pendulum swing back, which is kind of crystallized in the election of Donald Trump. So, but do I think that they'll learn their lesson? No.
No, of course they're not going to. Marsden, I don't know if we're going to have you back on before Christmas. So I want to know, is there any movie that you watch every Christmas with your family or something that you guys have to see every year?
Well, that's a great question. You know, for the longest time, people give me a lot of hassle because I never saw It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, my
I hadn't seen It's a Wonderful Life till literally 2 years ago. So that's the movie.
There you go. Welcome to the club.
And Die Hard. And it is a Christmas movie. I'm just saying it is. It's a Christmas movie.